We're back. It's another episode of Macrodosing. We have a very special guest on the show today. Want to give a warm welcome back to our prodigal son. He's back temporarily from fraternity leave. It's Billy Football. Billy, how are you doing? It's good to see you, buddy.
Hey, thanks for having me. Just taking a little break from the books, and then I was like writing a paper all today, so this is a great break.
What was your paper?
So glad to be here.
I
literally my senior thesis. Like it's like getting pretty. I have to submit it by Wednesday. So if you're listening to this on Wednesday, there's a very good chance I'm like in that grace period between finishing all my studies and like walking at graduation, where like you're not actually graduated, but you have zero responsibilities. Right. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
How many pages are we talking here, Billy?
100.
100? Oh man, I was going to tell you I'd look it over for you, but no longer.
Get Nate to do it. We should actually publish Billy's senior thesis as a blog.
I asked Nate if I could do that, and he was like, well, you can't submit the same paper for several classes, so you can't submit it for school and a job. And I was like, okay, Nate. Like,
I disagree with that. I'll definitely take that to blog.
Yeah. Can I like submit all my papers from college as blogs?
Definitely not all of them, but your senior thesis, yeah.
So wait, you're submitting a 100-page senior thesis, but you're going to walk at graduation. There's no chance in hell that your professor is going to read 100 pages from multiple students, grade it, and then like prevent somebody from graduating.
Yeah, but I also have like a math exam on Wednesday. So that's like when that's the last day.
What are you writing 100 pages on?
I've been writing it for the past couple months. It's like I could explain it to you. It's a controversial topic.
It'd be over your head, big T.
No, I think I'd be able to understand.
We don't do controversial topics on this show.
Yeah.
Did you see that Michael Jackson actually might be
be
really innocent? Like the lawsuit got withdrawn the other week. I don't know if you saw that.
No, it's basically like the whole point is that we should be voting using blockchain, internet, like basically so everyone can vote in like 2 seconds. It's easy, and we use biometrics to ensure identification, so everyone votes once and everyone can vote. It's like
biometrics.
Yeah,
dive into that a little bit more.
Just like like your fingerprint or face scan that you get into your phone with.
You're gonna lose all the conspiracy heads with that one.
I know, but blockchain and stuff, it's like they've been doing it in other countries, and basically with that, like it'd be easy to register everybody, and it kind of like pleases both sides of the aisle. So
man, if you make voting easier, it doesn't please one side of the aisle.
Right, that's what I was gonna say. But if you address the fact that people don't want voting to be easier,
right? But if the only
big T over there.
Well, that's false.
No, but
that's just
but if you
patently untrue. That's just patently false. But Billy
just want to protect the sanctity of the vote, head ass.
No, but like if you use like biometrics and blockchain security, the only leg that one side stands on is like to prevent illegal immigrants from voting. So if you have like insurance of security, then you can like have people voting on their phones. But not to get too political, but
I think you're gonna run into
read this shit.
I would love to read it. We should actually do an episode on it, and you should publish it as a blog. Yeah, for sure. I think that you're gonna run into problems because people are like, wait, you want to create a national database of every citizen based on their fingerprint or their eye scan, and then that. I mean, honestly, like I'm not that comfortable with that.
No, but they already have it.
The blockchain thing might be good because isn't that deregulated from the government? Like if it's a separate entity.
Well, the basically would be implemented on local levels because you have a bunch of these companies who've actually done that. So like imagine like Dominion voting machines, right? Like that was a private company that was put into a couple local jurisdictions. So like you could put this in local governments for voting. Like it wouldn't be like a national thing. It would be like a more local solution. But yeah, anyway, not to bore us all, but
that's not boring. That's fucking fascinating.
Is that no? I've actually been working on it for like the past 6 months, like all semester. So
what if Billy Football saved democracy?
That's kind of my plan.
Billy's gonna save us, dog. Holy shit! Bring both sides
in this
together.
Paper, I will.
In this paper, I will save democracy. No, because democracy has to evolve. Like, it's been kept going. Like,
that's controversial.
Not everything has survived. Like, we're in this big internet revolution, and a lot of stuff hasn't survived. For democracy to survive the internet revolution, it needs to adapt.
One thing I love about Billy when he's going off on his tangents and he's like getting really into stuff is every sentence that he says could be prefaced with the words "in conclusion," like at the end of an essay. And you just did it right there, and it was you summed up your thoughts. In conclusion, democracy has to evolve. Will we evolve along with it, or will we see it die out? It's hard to say.
Find out on the next episode.
Hell yeah. All right. Well, I guess, Billy, it's good to have you back, man. Good to see your face. So this is not going to be like a normal every day, every week occurrence until Billy comes back for good. But we want to.
Also, I know I may have sounded pretty smart a second ago, but I got fucking scammed on Craigslist like 3 days ago. So.
What did you do, Billy?
This is what happened. I'm looking for an apartment in New York, right? And so I can move in and like start going full time and everything. So I find this apartment and I message the vendor, like the guy on Craigslist, like through email, and we're emailing and everything. And we set up a time for me to check out the apartment, and he said, "Okay, just email me your number, so we can, so we can text you before you come." And I was like, I've been talking to this guy for like several emails, and he claims to work at this company. So I gave him my number. I didn't think anything was of it. Silly. And then he just emails me back, "Idiot." I'm just like, what? So apparently what they try to do is they try to take your number, and if like certain carriers have like malware against this type of thing, but if you like don't have like AT&T or Verizon, it's pretty easy to hack your SIM card for like PayPal verification stuff. So then they like basically send a reset password thing to your phone, and they intercept it through your SIM card. But like, thank God. But anyway, just like, so then when he realized he couldn't hack my phone because I, have pretty good cell service, he just replied, "Idiot."
Billy, even if it's legit, I rented my first New York apartment off Craigslist. Don't do that. It's the worst mistake I've ever made in my life.
I was about to say, why are you looking for apartments on Craigslist?
No, because all like some of the bigger like apartment ones, like, I don't know, apartments.com, they leave up listings because if they get like page views, they'll leave them up, even if they're like already been signed for and sold. So Craigslist has like the newest shit.
They're trying to get those
Billy,
clicks
I promise.
on apartments.com.
I promise, don't.
You
give me a price range and where you want to live, and I will find you a list of apartments.
I've already, it's like a full-time job finding an apartment.
It does suck.
Or are you asking to get paid for searching for an apartment? Is this
no.
Going down here?
I would like one of our listeners to set up a fake Craigslist ad and see if they can scam Billy.
That'd be fire.
The thing is, I did so many, went through so many ads and messaged so many that
how
at that
many?
point,
How many are we talking? What is?
I did 40, easy over the past.
That's not that extensive, though.
Yeah, but it wasn't it was like 40 in one day.
To give up and go to the dark web of
Craigslist. Craigslist is the dark web. I got
there's some shady shit on Craigslist.
I got three laying chicken hens off Craigslist the other day.
And that's where you want to buy a place to live.
This is what I'm saying.
I don't think that made your point. No.
They're great. They're already laying.
You don't.
They're great hens.
They're fertile. Okay.
Dude, I got 4 Rhode Island Reds for a great price, and the guy was like, I met him in the Home Depot parking lot, and it was like a great experience.
Bruh,
I can't believe we let this guy leave.
Somebody's gonna kill you on Craigslist, dog.
No one's gonna kill me on Craigslist.
Until you show up to the $600 1-bedroom in the West Village that you've signed up for, and then you just get killed.
Big T kills all his people on Craigslist. That's how he finds everybody.
Billy's gonna sign up for an apartment that's like, it's pretty sweet. I pay $400 a month. All I have to do is I got to do like some light plumbing work on the other apartments, and then they let me stay in the basement, and I got to take care of the hot water heater too, and then like do some painting. And
they make me live with my shirt off, but it's cool. I do anyway.
One dude every other week makes me give him a hand job, but it's all right.
But it's fine. He's got a small dick and it's really fast, so it's like basically free money.
Still, it's a total steal.
The easiest way to get Billy to rent an apartment from you would just be like put in some weird features in your bath. Be like, it's got a new type of shower that's it's got ionization, so you just stand in ultraviolet light for 30 seconds. It actually gets you cleaner than soap and water. And Billy would be like, "Fuck yeah, I'm in."
Frog curtains.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Okay, well, I hope that you survive your apartment search. And yeah, Craigslist is a weird place. Like Craigslist, I'm actually shocked that Craigslist is still around because it's a website that hasn't really evolved technologically speaking that much. It's just basically the same thing, right?
Mm.
I guess if
Craigslist and Reddit seem to like Craigslist and Reddit. It's like we're sticking with what works. Like we're gonna hand it off to our best guy, and we're just gonna get 4 yards of carry.
Isn't Reddit just like a diet 4chan? It's like a light 4chan.
It's like a dressed up 4chan.
It's like a sliding scale. Like if there were like a scale of internet racism holes, like I would say Reddit's more centrist and 4chan, and then the higher the number in front of Chan, I believe, the deeper racism goes.
Yeah. It's like the depths of the ocean we haven't explored in the terms of internet.
Yeah, and then like 16chan is going to be more racist than 8chan was, but they're also going to be more ironic with their racism. So it's actually, in their minds, it's less racist, but in practice, it's double racist. It's a weird equation. So water.
Dude, water actually is fascinating.
Water is fascinating. So, and my fascination with water started with that movie Chain Reaction with Keanu Reeves and Morgan Freeman back in like 1995, where he figured out how to turn a glass of water into pure energy. That was a sick scene where Keanu Reeves just like straight up lit a glass of tap water on fire. And then it ended up turning into a hydrogen bomb. Spoiler alert. But I was like, that's cool. Water can be cool because it's made up of like a lot of the same stuff that everything around us. We're mostly water, right?
Billy, are you high?
No, I'm not high at all, but I need to interrupt and say that the Nazis invented modern KoolAid, and that was brushed over last episode.
How so?
So before World War I,
you about to fuck my head up right now.
Bro, I'm about to, dude. All artificial sweeteners and artificial flavors were produced in Germany pre-World War I. And they shipped them across the world. And KoolAid at the time was dehydrated fruit juice for a second. But in post-World War II, when the United States got all the patents from these German companies, they started using artificial flavors, which are like the number one ingredient in KoolAid.
So they weren't Nazis when they invented it. They were
going to become
Nazis.
They reinvented them in World War II, like Fanta. Like Fanta was like a Nazi drink, and they reinvented they had to restructure the some of the processes of creating them because they were isolated, and they were cheaper ways to create these artificial sweeteners.
Okay, so that's Fanta though, not KoolAid.
Yeah, but now we use the same chemicals in KoolAid.
All right, so we developed it from the Nazi chemicals.
From Nazi Fanta.
Are you just talking about the artificial sweetener?
No, the artificial flavors.
Because actual KoolAid was developed by a guy by the name of Edwin Perkins in Hastings, Nebraska.
But as we talked about a second ago, ingredients change.
We're talking about the origins. We talking about the origins. Bro.
No, remember we went from sugar to corn syrup?
Right.
Because it was a cheaper alternative.
Right.
We went from.
You said the origins of KoolAid was Nazi.
No, I'm saying the chemicals that we have in KoolAid now come from Nazis.
All right. Well, I'll take that rather than the origins.
Okay, so
I'm not gonna fact check it.
So according to Billy, like literally every type of sweet thing that we eat right now that you can buy at the grocery store, boom, that's a Nazi.
Nazi.
Yeah, I mean
There's a Nazi in my cupcake.
look up like the origins of Fanta, and this guy like revolutionized like sweet drink production because he was like basically left in Germany alone. Like Coca-Cola was like, bro, you're on your own. Like you got to do your own thing. So he like created this new drink and all these processes. He was an American, but it was in Nazi Germany.
Okay, so like when what's her name, Kendall Jenner solved the crisis with Pepsi, she was actually just inserting Nazi symbology into that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Irony.
I was gonna say before we go on, I also saw the results for do you add extra sugar with your KoolAid mix on Twitter. We had 4,424 votes. 52% of people said no. So I think there was a little bit of
Those are the Nazis.
I think there was a little bit of like miscommunication. So I had no idea when people started commenting. I had no idea that they made unsweetened KoolAid packs. Because growing up, we had like the different flavor types, so you wouldn't really have to put sugar in. But I didn't know that they made unsweetened KoolAid packets, and I think that's probably where Arian was getting it from.
Yeah, I think that like in the replies that I saw, it was broken down in people that used the different packs versus the stuff that came in the tub.
Yep.
For the most part, I think it was mostly miscommunication.
No. No.
Are you adding sugar? If you come across the containers we're talking about, you're still going to add sugar.
I'm not coming across those containers.
Keep them far away from me.
Where would I come across those? I don't understand. Like, where did you seek that out? Like, you go look
a standard
for
grocery store will have them.
Yeah, basically.
You know what I'm saying? But when you go look for KoolAid, you look for tubs.
That's the only way I'd ever seen it.
Yeah, I'm not doing a single pitcher.
It comes in packets. Everything else is weird. Like, and you know, this is how broke we was. We didn't even get KoolAid. We got Flavor Aid. So it's like I can't relate to this tub thing y'all talking about.
I remember Flavor Aid too, but the thing is, like, if you buy it in tubs, it's actually way cheaper than if you get the packets of it.
No, Flavor Aid was 10 cents a packet.
Oh well, that I think that breaks down to being cheaper than the tubs of KoolAid. But that was my family's logic. It's like if we're getting Gatorade or if we're getting KoolAid, we're getting the big ass thing that's going to make you sick of that flavor by the time you're like a quarter done with the tub, but we still have 3/4 left.
How much are the tubs?
I don't know. I want to say it's like, I would guess $4.99, $6.99.
I don't even think it's that much. I think it's $3.99.
Yeah, so you might be right. It might be more cost efficient, but
it also it locks you into drinking a shitload of KoolAid. It's $5.99, $6.48 on Walmart.com.
And how much powder? Like, is it ounces? Does it matter in ounces or?
That's a good
question.
It's a
shit ton.
Before we get into the meat of this podcast, I want to talk to you about our great friends at 3Chi. Arian, you love 3Chi, right?
Absolutely.
3Chi is the best. I love 3Chi. Had some this weekend, actually. Had some gummies. It was a lovely Saturday. Went to bed nice and early. Got a great night's sleep thanks to 3Chi. They are the industry leader in Delta-8 THC products. All their products are formulated by a biochemist. They're made right here in the USA. Delta-8 is a federally legal version of THC, so you get a much more functional high out of it. It's an alternative to marijuana. It gives you an amazing buzz, great body feel, but you get a clearer head. You get less anxiety and less paranoia. Arian, what do you like from 3Chi? Do you eat their cookies or do you do the oil?
I'm the oil guy.
Yeah, I got some oil too. Start off with like half a dropper of it. It might hit you a little bit hard.
Little full dose.
You go full dose?
Full drop.
It'll knock you out, but you'll feel great before you get knocked out. It's psychoactive. It will give you buzz, so use it responsibly. Not only do they have the oil, they've got brownies, they've got cookies, they've got cereal treats, fruity cereal, crisp rice. They've also got those gummies. They've got vapes, tinctures, gummies, oils, edibles. You can make your own homemade edibles out of those oils too. If you use promo code MACRO at checkout, you get 5% off your order. 5% off your order, promo code MACRO. Must be 21 to purchase. 3Chi. Check it out. All right, so water. You guys ready for water?
Yeah.
Water coming at you. What's What's your favorite type of water? Do you have a favorite type, like a bottled water? Is there a specific go-to brand that you think tastes better than the rest?
I drink Body Armor.
I do
because
too.
of the pH balance and electrolyte mix in. That's the stuff.
I do
I'll
too.
tell you that.
Yep. That has nothing to do with them being a sponsor of ours.
I simp for Body Armor.
Yep. What about you, Arian?
I'm an Essentia guy. Essentia. Yeah.
Coley?
I've always big shout out to Body Armor. Outside of them, I've always been a big Fiji guy.
Big
that
T?
shit tastes hard.
First of all, let me just say it was 128. I fucked up. I don't want people tweeting me saying I'm dumb. That mental math, I got messed up. But I said, I don't know, is this before or after the Frank interview? I said I like Dasani, but the only water I drink is Body Armor because it's free in the office, so I take it home.
Avery?
Body Armor's awesome. I love their wide cap. Makes it easier to drink. But I will say Smart Water for like airplanes anywhere. Smart Water's the best.
That's an entirely different category too, is airport water, because there is such a thing as airport water. And I would put like Fiji is an airport water. Voss is a big airport water.
Big airport.
If you drink
They sell Voss at TJ Maxx for some reason. Like I don't understand Voss or what they're doing.
Voss used to be
Voss is fancy.
bougie, but then Grown Ups came out and it went like everyone gets Voss now.
You think Grown Ups tanked Voss?
No, I think Grown Ups. Remember that scene? He was like,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
She was like, yeah, and the kid
We'll
was
get
like,
some Boss
"There's
Java
no
for
Voss."
the kid.
And then everyone wanted to drink Voss, and then Voss stopped selling those glass bottles and started selling it in the plastic bottles.
So like early in the 2010s, I used to go to like fancy fucking hotels, and all the fancy hotels had Voss.
Yeah.
Huh.
Voss to me is something that if you drink it outside of an airport, you remember that old rumor that if you drank enough Mountain Dew, it would make you sterile because there was like an ingredient in it, yellow 5, that would just straight up zap your sperm. If you drink more than 5 bottles of Voss a year, I actually think that you should be sterilized. I think that they should put that ingredient, whatever it is, in Voss, because you have too much money. You're simply wasting America's money on a glass bottle of water. And I'm of the mindset where it's like, yeah, okay, first of all, I will drink Body Armor. That's really the only kind of water I drink. Or hose water. Hose water hits different. And I would include in the hose water debate like the water horse from football practice. You don't see that out in the wild, like the like PVC pipe that's hammered together at the joints with holes drilled into it. Arian, did you have that when you were growing up playing?
Nah, we used to have they used to fill like 6 or 7 of these like little bottles up, and they had like these little like tubes that came out of it, and you just squeeze it. So it's like this little squeezy tube water thing.
I will say water fountain water after like working out or like gym class hit different.
Say the word water again.
Water.
Love that.
Water fountain water is good, but the juice isn't worth the squeeze in the water. You only get like a little bit. You get like half a mouthful, and so a line forms real quick at a water fountain.
You want to know an elite water? And it's not because of taste. It's because of kind of what Avery just said. When I played football in high school, we had like the PVC pipe built like water fountain with 20 spigots around it. Do y'all know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
I know we used to have it where you would like squeeze this like thing and then water would come out. Like
So this was
had
just
a handle.
They turned the hose on and it went through the PVC pipe and like came out of 20 different spigots. So you could go like throw your head in there real quick, get some water.
That's the water horse.
PFT.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what PFT
I
just
was
said.
just talking about it.
Are you serious?
I was talking about.
Sorry,
a second ago.
Billy's got me. I'm sorry. Billy had me looking at apartments.
You're still looking.
No, but the best part was like if like there was one guy who like made you run more or something, when everyone was getting water after, everyone would just douse them with their one little like separate hose. I mean, it was like,
Oh,
you
it
need
had
some
the
more water.
spigot.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Okay, but we had it like it was like almost a tank. It was like almost like a tank, and it had like 4 or 5 different little like spigots that you turn on and off. Is that what you're talking about?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's.
I didn't go D1.
That was college. No, I was about to say that was college. That wasn't even high school.
Yeah.
High school was the water bottles you squeeze.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
What did your coaches call getting a drink of water? Because I'll never forget it. We had Coach Anderson. He used to play in the NFL, and he had different words for everything. And when it was time to get water, he'd say, "Get a squig." He called it a squig, and that's still what I call it to this day. I've never heard anybody else say that, but he'd be like, "Yo, go get you a squig," and to me, that's like the most delicious way to phrase water because I associate it with just being really tired in 2 days.
I've heard
It's
swig. SW.
Yeah, it's way better, but it's way better than swig. I think swig it should be changed. I'm up for. I would sign that petition.
Yeah.
I had a coach who, whenever we got a water break in the preseason, he'd be like, "Go get your state mandated water break," because they started putting in those hydration laws.
He was like mad at you for that.
Yeah.
Tell. What's the best way to tell a group of 16-year-olds to stay hydrated while also implying strongly they'll be punished if they stay hydrated?
Go get your state mandated like water break that has to occur once every 50.
That was one of the things going through my youth in football that I was like deemed a rebel early on because of shit like that. Like we would be thirsty and tired, and so if you put your hands on your knees, you're like, "Oh, get your hands off your knees, you're acting like a bitch." Or if you're like, "Yo, oh, you want some water? Oh, you want some water?" Suck it. It's like, fam, what the fuck are you talking about? Like,
Yes.
I'm
Quite
thirsty.
thirsty.
Like this body don't work without that liquid, family. What the fuck are you smoking? And I used to tell him that shit all the time. They're like, "Oh, he's talking back." I'm like, "You guys are fucking insane." Like none of that shit made any sense to me.
Water
Also-
makes you weak.
Turns out
Yeah,
holding your
yeah.
hands above your head isn't actually
No.
the best way
course
to
not.
do it.
There was a study that came out actually
Yeah.
that putting your hands
Yeah.
on your knees gets more oxygen to your lungs. And all these fucking coaches I grew up with, I used to tell them that. They're like, "Put your hands over here, you get more air." I'm like,
There's
"No, I don't."
There's
Like,
no air
I'm-
down there.
Yeah, and there's a bunch.
That's
turns
why
out
you
it's fucking
naturally do
everywhere.
it. Like that's your
Turns out-
natural
Right.
reaction. You're like, shit, I'm tired. I'm good.
Unreal.
No,
Unreal.
it's hilarious because coaches would say like, "There's no air. Look below you. There's less air beneath where you
Yeah.
are naturally than there is above you. You want to keep your head as high as possible." And it was all bullshit the entire time. And you're right. Like putting your hands on your knees. There's a reason why it's a natural, like it's instinct to do that.
It's like elongates your lungs because what you're doing is like stretching out your torso, I think.
You look so much more tired, like with your hands up here, like gasping. Like you look like now you can see the pain of how tired
Yeah.
I am in my
Bro,
face.
nothing funnier than seeing 300-pound linemen do this shit here
I was just gonna.
with their legs crossed and them gasping for air, and I'm like, I'm putting my hands on my knees.
It's a
Every time
They
horrible-
always
I'm
grab
putting my
their
hands on-
wrists too because that like helps hold them up somehow.
They used to call it a bitch pose. That's what they did. From high school to college, that's a bitch pose. And I'm like, bro, y'all are horrible humans. And I used to tell them that shit too. You're a rebel. Like, all right, fam, whatever.
It's a horrible pose aesthetically for a big guy as well. I mean, you're just up here like this, lean back. It's not a good look.
The shirt always rises
Yeah,
up. The belly
it's-
comes
it's
out.
terrible.
The belly.
Yeah.
Then you've got like, it's bad look.
Yeah, water makes you weak. You don't swallow, just spit, just swish and spit. We had a coach that would tell us to do that too, because then you get the sensation like you have water in your mouth, but you don't actually swallow it, and it doesn't make you weaker because you need water to survive. I don't think that actually worked.
You know, it's actually, now that I'm thinking about this shit, I've never even thought about this shit before. Like, cause like my kids are all like joining Little League sports now, right? And I'm just like thinking back of like when I was a kid and how much like you revered your mentors, if you will, of your coaches. They were just like all like miserable ass people who were just like, yeah, fuck it, I'll do it, I'll sign up and I'll coach these kids. None of them knew the sport. None of them know what the fuck they talking about. They all have all these sayings that have been passed down for generations that are fucking toxic. So we are fucking harming our children by not regulating coaches. This shit is insane.
Yeah. Are you hurt or are you injured? There is like some truth
Horrible.
to that, but like saying it to a kid, not necessarily.
No.
You don't think there's a difference?
No, nigga. I am 14 surgeries in. If you're hurt, don't play.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I wish I paid more attention to that in high school.
Bro.
Yeah.
I pushed through every single injury in my career. I wake up in pain every single day. Fuck that. Sit down.
Did like as you got through the ranks of like high school to D1 to the pros, were there still just like extreme idiots everywhere you looked at the pros, or were they like way smarter?
Are you talking about my team or like?
No, like the coaches and like people who are like telling you to rub dirt on like a broken knee.
So what you have and what I've seen is like, so I'll go top down. Like in the NFL, you have a culture of that has kind of been entrenched in the tough guys last kind of thing. And that trickles down into college where they know less, but they want more. And so they're like at the next level when they're not even like that at the next level. And then in high school, it's just a whole bunch of like has-beens who wanted to be college athletes. And then in Little League, one of my Little League coaches was a fucking cokehead. And I didn't find that out until I was in high school. And so it's like, as you go up in the ranks, they get a little bit more informed. So what I prophesize is going to happen, like all of that shit's going to wash out and sports science is going to take over because it comes, who would have thought fucking water hydrates your athletes. Rest is some of the best shit for athletes, right? So all of this, like, there used to be fucking 3-a-days, bro. 3-a-days practice. Like, that's the dumbest shit in the world, right? I mean, even 2-a-days is fucking dumb, right? But it's like all of these like things that have been like over time, like have kind of just been entrenched in the sport. It's all nonsense. It's all fable, and it's all comes from like toxic men who like hate their wives and just want to get away, and they hate themselves, and they just have done no therapy, and they're just miserable human beings.
It's
hitting. Oh,
I was gonna say in my high school, it was basically just we're going to be tougher than the other team, and we were always told like the other team, this is what they're doing right now, so we're gonna go 10% harder than what they're doing. We went like I want to say 3-9. And then 2-10. We were not good because we didn't have an offense.
12-0 in toughness, though.
Yeah, listen. We're not going to pass the ball ever, but when we get tackled, they're going to feel us when they hit us. That's a guarantee. And so
maybe if you have your legs from all the fucking conditioning.
Yeah, no, it was just ass backward strategy. I'd actually like to hear from people out there like, what is the most ridiculous thing that a coach told you at any level that you now realize is like complete bullshit? But at the time, it made sense because they were older than you. I'm sure we'll get some crazy answers.
I got a funny story. I got a funny fucking story real quick, bro. Rest in peace to my high school coach, Dennis Pugh. That was my guy. He's a legend in San Diego. So one of my guys, he misses practice. And like we were like the inner city kids that had all the position talent, but like no linemen. And we were just like a bunch of niggas that just didn't listen, right? So there was like no structure. And so one of my guys just decides not to practice one day. Like, he's fucking, I'm not practicing today. I'm hurting. And so at the end of the practice, we had a bad practice. And he goes, and Steve, what's wrong with you? Why don't you practice? And he goes, my hip hurts, coach. He said, your hip hurts? Your hip hurts? Well, I could have taped you up. I'd have taped you up to your fucking dicks in your stomach. And we all just like, have you ever been around black people, dog? Where everything's funny and they laugh and the whole group disperses. Whole squad fell the fuck out, bro. R.I.P. to Dennis Pugh. That was my guy. That was fucking hilarious, bro.
I loved it when coach would be like, that's a long way from your heart if you had like a foot injury. Or like
I've never heard that one.
Yeah, that was a good one. And also like I remember I broke my finger and I had to have like 2 pins in it my freshman year. And he was like, you don't run with your hand, boy. And I was like, yeah, it's a good point, but I do play wide receiver. And we don't pass the ball. So he was basically like telling me I should still play even though I had pins in my hand because all I'm going to do is block anyways. That was fun. That was a good time.
You was a little Julian Edelman in high school?
Yeah, except Julian plays occasionally. And so if Julian Edelman was like 200% worse at playing wide receiver and 200% better at kicking a football, that was me in high school. But yeah, we were very similar.
Herb Brooks.
I would pay for that film. I would pay for that film.
Yeah, I was a B team all-star. Fucked up South Lakes. Fucked them up bad time in the B game. It was nice. Big T, you strike me as somebody who will get into coaching youth sports at a very early age if you haven't done it already.
If there was like more money in it, like I would love to be not a youth sports coach, but like a high school coach. Like I feel like that. Just go teach gym.
I'm 100% planning on doing that. Becoming a high school coach.
No shit, Bill.
Like
go be a
like when I'm 50, like not a head coach, but just like one of the guys who goes to the practices, like when I'm retired.
Uh-huh.
Oh, we had
just like to be around it.
Yeah, we had that guy, Coach Rob. He played like 3 games in the NFL, and he just kind of showed up whenever he wanted.
Yeah, exactly.
But I much more look forward to being a youth sports parent. I feel like that's more my lane.
So you can get mad at the coach.
I've said forever,
for
I was like,
head.
all I want to be like 47 years old with like my son playing high school football. Like I want to be 47.
That's the dream?
Yeah, I can picture... Just picture an older Big T sitting on a metal bench on like a chilly November night.
No, that's
like that. He's just sitting there like watching, like what are we gonna break down in the car on the ride home? That's future
just
Big
in
T.
all aspects of life. I just want to be 47. Like I feel like my personality is that of a 47-year-old dude.
I gotta say, it does just feel right to picture you as like a high school sports dad.
Oh yeah, that's the dream.
You've got your program, you're comparing notes, highlighting guys.
You're going to be one of those dudes at a baseball game that when the pitcher throws a ball, you're going to say, good eye, huh?
I mean, you got to have plate discipline.
Wait for your pitch.
Yeah, that's not you. That's not you. That's not you. Sit there.
Good call, Blue. Good call, Blue. I love it. I love it, Big T. I also had one coach that after we broke down at the end of a two-a-day, he was just staying behind our head coach, and he was the wide receiver coach at the time. And our coach was giving us like the big speech at the end of the day of why today was important and what lessons we really learned. And wide receiver coach was back there, and he just straight up pulled his nuts out and his dick and just like held it in his hand and was like squeezing them like to make us laugh. And we all like laughed. And I thought it was hilarious at the time. He got fired later for unrelated incidents. But then looking back on it, I'm like, wait, I was 14 years old. And this like 27-year-old guy was just like pulling his nuts and penis out and showing and just like gripping him until you could see the veins because he thought it was a hilarious gag. And in retrospect, it's starting to all fall into place maybe why now our high school football team wasn't very good. That was the highlight of my year, honestly. It's like, do you remember when Coach pulled his dick out? That was awesome. All right.
Hold on. Before we get to water, bro. Where the fuck is this dude now?
I think he got fired because he was dating a senior when he was a substitute teacher, and then I think they got married and had a bunch of kids. Actually,
that tracks.
So it worked out.
So all's well that ends well. Yeah. Not gonna name any names, but yeah. I think
what high school did you go to?
That's a fucking pedophile. I'm cool if you call that motherfucker out. What?
Just guys being dudes.
Yo, Big T. All right, you're in the practice bleachers, and the coach pulls his shit out to your 14-year-old son. What does 47-year-old Big T do?
I would have a problem with that. Yeah.
Arian, you're missing out on a big aspect.
Sternly worded letter to the dean. Yeah.
He exposed what appeared to be his frenulum and his scrotum and his right testy, and it was highly inappropriate considering that we had just lost the game. It's not a time for fooling around and joking and celebrations. Now, to be fair, Arian, you're missing a big component. He did it to be funny. It was a joke. He wasn't doing it to...
People are so sensitive nowadays.
Yeah.
We can't do anything.
What's wrong with little grown-up dick and balls to the minors?
Nowadays, PC police would come right after that guy and cancel his ass. You can't do that shit anymore. But he was... I should say, like, he wasn't... I don't think he was doing it in a sexual manner. Oh, God. I don't know. Dude, he was trying to make a joke.
Oh, God.
It's only weird if you make it weird.
You guys are weird for thinking anything of it.
Yeah.
Did he say anything, or was he just sitting there with his shit out?
No, he was like, yeah, exactly what KoolAid did right there. He had like his tongue sticking. He was like, And it was because we were getting like a big serious speech from our coach. He was trying to break up the seriousness and the weight of this of the situation.
I just want to take
there's no better way.
I'm just picturing like Bill Belichick chewing out the team and Steve Belichick's behind him.
I just want to take a second. The title of this show is Bottled Water.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Yeah.
Bro, bottled water.
No, I'm just saying, like, how ridiculous that's what the title of this episode is going to be, and people are going to get to this part.
Listen,
that's the best thing about podcasts.
The beauty.
If anybody complains about it, it's obvious to me they've never played football before.
There's a really good
The
We're talking
context.
classic football stuff, like a sexual assault. Of a 15-year-old boy.
He was at practice, and also he was like at least 10 yards behind the coach, who was 10 yards in front of us. So he was like in the background. It was like a mise en scene. If we're talking about like
the distance.
Yeah, the distance. He was just like his penis was an Easter egg that you had to like look for, and then if you saw it, then everyone you see that face when you see it, when you finally notice it. We just all cracked up.
How many yards does he have to stay away from the football field now?
Good times.
good dick and balls transition. A lot of people are asking, what is the best water bottle to piss in?
Oh,
I have this answer.
no,
Arian,
yeah.
go off.
Arian's gonna pull out a big bottle of piss.
He came prepared.
You're muted.
Oh, hold on.
We lost
muted
you, Aaron. You're
yourself.
muted.
My bad. So my studio for the shit is in my room, and so I'm gonna get it. But I like sometimes. Remember we was talking about the other day with mattresses.
Yeah.
Some about mattresses, and there needs to be something made in the mattress so you have to pee, so you don't have to get up in the middle of the night. Because sometimes that trek is it's a motherfucker. So like sometimes, dog, I don't got it in me, and I keep this kind of bottle of water next to me just in case. And many times I've just gone in a water bottle. I'm gonna get it though. Hold on. I think it is. I think it is. No.
Body armor is a good one because it's got the wide mouth on it.
Yep,
Not that I
I see
need
it.
it, but it's good to have a little room to breathe.
Someone said Deer Park. I don't know where that correlation is.
No, that's just a
Aren't
standard.
those
Just
the
a
ones with
standard
that has
bottle.
the tiny?
It's Poland Spring.
Yeah.
Essentially the same thing.
Yeah, Poland Spring's best for like dip. You know what I mean? Like that's what that's for. But I feel like 32-ounce Gatorade's the answer for all this.
Got
Yeah.
it. I got it. And this might not apply to everybody, but Evermore, EVAMOR, Evermore bottled water is the best to pee in. Hold on. And I'll tell you why. Because, and it's this specific one. They have smaller ones, but it's the big Jones.
Okay.
The big Jones are the best ones because they rim is really big, right? And so, like, the other ones, like, it's, man, I said, man, not everybody might have this problem, but, like, the other ones, like, you can't, it don't fit. And so it's like you kind of just taking your chances. But the Ever ones, bro, slip that thing right in, and you got plenty of room to work with. You good money.
Wait, Aaron, do you put your penis all the way inside the bottle when you start peeing into
Yeah.
like
Oh,
it's
yeah.
hanging down in the middle of the bottle?
Yeah.
That's
But it's a big bottle. It's like it is the do I got any of the
It's
4 ounces?
128.
It's the 64 ounces. It's the 64 ounces.
64?
So my shit ain't all the way in that motherfucker, right?
No,
Or
I
else-
got
or else I'd have bigger problems.
I'm gonna start doing that. I'm gonna start basically fucking a water bottle every time I pee into it.
Hey,
Maybe
I don't-
I've been peeing wrong my whole life.
No. This my favorite is so there's two reasons you need a water bottle for piss. One, you're in a car. Two, you're in like your dorm room and there's not a bathroom close. So when you're in your car, the 32-ounce Gatorade for mobility. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
But then there's the big Snapple bottles that not only have the wide top, but they got like a gallon. You know what I'm talking about?
Billy Ocean's a wide top guy. I see. Man.
Yeah, they have like the Arizona green tea that comes in that same thing with the big handle
Yeah.
on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great for a road trip because you can get multiple peas in there.
Exactly.
I like that.
I've peed driving before because I didn't want to stop. Didn't have to get gas. Just gotta keep that shit pushing.
Yeah, that takes some mobility. What about you, KoolAid? What's your favorite one to piss in?
I mean, vitamin water's got a pretty like wider than normal hole, but I feel like it's not technically water, but the 32-ounce Gatorade is like king supreme for me.
Yeah, it's also great for making a water bong out of if you have to.
Definitely.
It's really versatile. That's honest recycling, because a lot of water bottles say that they're all about recycling, and like this Poland Springs bottle right here, you can't make a pipe out of that. The plastic's too flimsy on it. You'll just end up melting it, and you'll create a much bigger hole than you need to. And that's why we have a lot of bad shit in our oceans right now. That's why we have a island the size of Texas floating out in the middle of the Pacific, because bottled water, basically. Because bottled water became a thing back in the 90s. I want to say
70s.
Yeah, but it took off in the 90s. But Bill, you want to walk us through a little bit of the history of bottled water?
So, people started using bottles for much different reasons. I mean, you can look back to the first containers for liquid were pots to house wine in Roman times. But when you're looking at water, the first glass bottled water that was distributed was in the 1700s. There was a fad of these spring and mineral waters, and water because water was such a public water systems hadn't gotten to the point that they are today, and much of the water distributed in early city plumbing was quite dirty, and there was a lot of disease, and there was a mixture of sewage as well as other stuff. The water, in lead poisoning. There was this idea that the farther away you got from cities, the better the water was. So importing water from these mineral springs, and there's naturally occurring water that is fizzy, and this was thought to be very magical and healing. So the whole concept of sparkling water was because there are springs that would emit water that is naturally sparkling. And I think even today, I think Pellegrino isn't artificially the soda stream type thing.
Are there any toilets do any societies or any I don't know upper class rich folk use mineral water to piss in and to take a shit into? That's probably as bougie as it gets, right? You have officially made it in life if you're taking a dump into mineral water, right?
Yeah, I mean that would be. But something that I found interesting, that basically, booze and like mixing alcohol with water, basically all the alcoholics, because they were only drinking booze and not water, they survived history and never got a coli or some of these terrible waterborne illnesses, because the alcohol would kill it. So in 1854, there was an outbreak of cholera in the Soho district of London, and this physician called John Snow was around at the time, and he was trying to figure out why everyone was getting sick. And basically people thought it was airborne, but then he realized that none of the alcoholics were getting sick. All the beer drinkers at the pub weren't getting sick. And then he realized it was the water.
That was the Broad Street pump, wasn't it? There was one particular pump in London that was the source of it. And he saw that. I think he also saw that certain people, there was a cluster of people around that water source when he put it on a map, and he noticed it that way too. And so he just said, hey, stop drinking from this pump. And everybody, I didn't know that about the alcoholics though.
Yeah. So basically in Rome, they used to mix their water with wine so that it wouldn't get so it would kill any of the germs. But, so when they first started bottling water, it was to get these exotic waters. And then in the 1970s, when they invented the PET bottles that are, polyethylene, what plastic is made out of, the plastic bottles. So it was the cheapest way to distribute water, because the containers didn't have to be, it wasn't glass. It was easier to manufacture. And then it spread like wildfire. And, some people think that a lot of these anti-tap water, fluoride conspiracies, chlorination, anti-chlorination, saying chlorine water is bad for you, comes from basically bottled water companies wanting to sell you bottled water and make you stop drinking the very much inexpensive tap water.
I like that theory, that it was who stands to gain from the fluoride conspiracy theories. It's the people that are making the bottled water. And right now, 30% of all liquid refreshment sales come from bottled water. Only soft drinks are more.
Huh.
And it's more water than milk and beer combined is sold in plastic bottle form.
Well, glad no one buys plastic bottles of beer.
At English soccer games that are starting to sell
You do that?
plastic bottles because it doesn't break, so you can't like throw them at somebody or use them to stab somebody. It's a big
Yeah.
issue in Scotland right now. Yeah.
But one interesting fact is like how like there's a lot of mountain imagery and like everyone's obsessed with mountain water.
Yeah. The Nazis, the Swiss.
This Evian, I mean, has,
Yeah.
but because so cold water was good water and flowing water was usually fresh water. But because places like rivers and lakes got a lot of sewage runoff, the idea of the best water was from the mountains because it was the only cold water that was accessible that didn't have any run, like, because it was coming from the top.
Mhm.
There was no like city below it to like contaminate it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, and so there are a bunch of different water brands out there now. I thought this was interesting that the main ones that you might have heard of, there are a bunch that are actually all the exact same water that are made by Nestle. So you've got Poland Springs, you've got Deer Park, you've got, I think it's called Ozarka water is another one of them, and then Arrowhead water. And those are all, and then Nestle Pure Life. Those are all made by the exact same company using the exact same standards. There's really not that much different from it. And I think it was Arrowhead.
I was going to say, interesting enough, those are all trash.
Yeah, they're all, and it's just based on what part of the country you're in. So Northeast, you've got Poland Spring. Like Mid-Atlantic, Deer Park is your water. Texas, I think it's only Texas, has Ozarka. Arrowhead is out west, and then I forget where Nestle Pure Life is. But they've gotten in trouble because so it's labeled as spring water, and spring water just basically means that the water comes from a flowing source, essentially. So Nestle's gotten in some trouble because they have been allegedly bottling groundwater out in the San Bernardino forest, which is water that is needed to be, rerouted to actual people, and that need water from like the municipal systems and water that needs to be put towards any other use for water, basically by the city and by the citizens of Los Angeles. But instead, Nestle has allegedly been straight up tapping into groundwater, calling it spring water, and they got sued. They got in a lot of trouble, I think 3-4 years ago. But the bottom line is there's really not that many regulations that hit bottled water. They test it occasionally, but they don't test it as often as most tap water is tested. The whole thing behind bottled water is like, this is convenient, isn't it? You're paying for the right to just throw this bottle away later and not to worry about it. And there's like a 2,000% markup on that. And we pay for it because honestly, like I do it a lot because it's easier.
Yeah, I saw this thing here. It says water's on average $1.22 per gallon. So we're spending 300 times more on bottled water than we would if we were to drink from the tap.
Mm-hmm. So when Fiji first came out, their marketing campaign was, the label says Fiji because it's not bottled in Cleveland. They were just like taking a shot at Cleveland as a whole with that statement. And then Cleveland took samples of Fiji, and they took some other samples from like Dasani, Aquafina. They tested against Cleveland, and Cleveland's tap water was the purest of all the bottled waters, including Fiji. And they found out that Fiji had 6.31 micrograms of arsenic per bottle. That sounds bad. The FDA limit is 10 micrograms of arsenic per bottle. So that's a little too close for comfort, like being 60% of the allowable amount of arsenic.
I can't have you rounding up I need you on the other side of that. I need you below sub 5.
Sub 5 would be ideal as far as my arsenic consumption goes. But yeah,
yeah.
What you see time and time again is that by and large, public water, tap water is way better for you. And not in all circumstances, but on the whole, tap water is usually better for you than any bottled water because they test it more frequently. And also, there's the whole notion of, what are they called? I forget the full name for them, but the cancer-causing ingredients.
Yeah, the BPAs or EPAs or something?
BPAs, yeah, in plastic. But my question is, how come, like they tell you not to refill plastic water bottles. I do that a lot. I do that very frequently. But what's the difference between refilling a plastic bottle and just having a plastic bottle filled with water for like 2 months. You know, like before you open it up.
Yeah, like oxygenation of like, but I don't even think that happens to plastic.
There was like I saw something where it was talking about the I think it's like the microplastics involved in bottled waters that have been sitting for a while, that it's like it's toxic. I couldn't cite the study. I didn't look that deep into it, but I saw something about that.
So here's what Nestle had to say about the groundwater thing that they were accused of taking from the national forest. Their rebuttal was, if you make us stop using this water, that will have significant market impacts and could risk job losses amongst our 1,200 employees in California who are connected with our brand. So they were basically like, yeah, try. Yeah, that's like, they're not saying that they weren't doing it. They were like, if you make us stop, then we're probably going to fire a bunch of people. And then they'll be mad at you for that. And they said that the water from the Arrowhead Springs may not be replaceable. So they're like, well, we basically have to use this because the actual spring source is dried up. So it sounds like what they did was ask for forgiveness, not for permission, from just like straight up taking the water. But at the end of the day, that's basically what all bottled water is. It's just companies getting to groundwater or to running water on the surface of the earth and then putting it into their system before it gets into the municipal system and then selling it back to us.
So turns out the reason you can't reuse plastic bottles, it's not that it causes chemicals or anything, but it's that they can harbor bacteria. So this sounds like, it's just like basically because you can't clean them in like a washing machine, no one's going to clean them, that the reuse can cause, bacterial buildup. Mm-hmm. And that's why you shouldn't reuse them, which is like BS.
You know what I want to do? I feel like we as a nation are primed. Like, I want to see what we'll buy in this country. I bet you if somebody sold like shots of ocean water and said like harness the power of the ocean, people would take the shots. People would buy them at the store and go home and just straight up take a shot of salt water.
I mean, that's not a far cry from those in the mall. Like, they're like, this salt's from the Dead Sea, and it gives you powers and shit.
Yeah. Like, I'm dead serious. If you take, you probably won't want to take a full shot of salt water. But if you like cut it, if you mix the salt with like, if you take like half tap water, half ocean water, which I guess they call that brackish water, but you could still say like, this is ocean water, harness the power of the 7 seas, and then charge people $3 for a shot of it. If you told them like, this water comes from off the coast of India, where the Buddha was alleged to have bathed at one point, I guarantee you people would buy that shit.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, yeah, people are fucking stupid. Here's an unrelated note. I once peed off of a boat, and the dude on it was like, yo, you shouldn't do that. And I was like, why? He said, because there's bacteria in the ocean that can swim upstream and go into you. And I was like, oh shit.
Bro, no, that's not true.
That's what he said, and I fucking believe him.
I think he just didn't want you to pee off the boat.
No.
I have
we are like
that.
a nice boat.
I'm already scared of the ocean, Billy. That fucking convinced me.
But think about it. Your stream is going down.
He said it can swim upstream.
I have heard that before.
So
I don't know if it's true.
There are absolutely microscopic insects that do that in rivers and in like lakes down in South America. There are bugs that will swim up if you start to pee.
Yeah.
They'll swim up into your urethra and straight up lodge themselves in your penis and wreck you. That's true.
Only underwater though. If you're like peeing underwater, but if you're peeing off a boat, they're not going to swim up your stream.
That's what he said.
Oh, wait, hang on. So you were standing on the boat just pissing into the water?
Yeah.
Oh, see, I thought you meant you were in the water.
I'm not getting in the water.
Okay, yeah, I definitely don't believe that.
Dude, that guy was messing with you.
Well, it worked, my nigga. Because I'm never peeing in the ocean again.
I mean, I love peeing in the ocean. If you see me go into the ocean, there's 100% chance that at some point while I'm in there, I'm peeing. That's when you're at the beach in the summertime, you lay down for a while, you get hot, you walk into the ocean, you pee while you're in there, you cool off, then you come back. And then you rinse and repeat. That's what everybody's doing.
What percentage of the people in the ocean do you think piss in the time that
That's
they're in
not true. Hold on, Billy. Hold on. Those upstream swimmers can cause problems when they wend their way into medical devices. For example, 75% of hospital urinary tract infections occur in catheters despite their outward flow of urine, according to the Centers of Disease Control.
But that's when you have a piece of plastic
that means, like,
up
if
there.
you're underwater,
They can swim upstream. There's a possibility, dog. It's possible. You got to admit it's possible. I'm not peeing in the ocean.
But like, think about salmon swimming upstream in a river.
Okay. They have more mass.
Right. So you're saying a tiny bacteria can swim up your stream and not fall out of the stream.
That'd make more sense than a salmon.
Yeah,
I actually agree with that.
Salmon can swim up my stream.
All right, now I'm not peeing anymore.
They have less mass.
I
will not die on this hill, man. I don't give a fuck about that. All I'm saying is it's possible. It's just a side note, sidebar.
I've never gotten a UTI, and I pee in the ocean probably hundreds of times per year.
Can guys even get UTIs?
How often do you go to the ocean?
Just when I'm there, I make the most of my time.
Has anyone here gotten a UTI?
No.
I haven't.
No. I haven't.
Are you sure?
Is that like a thing?
Yeah, guys can get UTIs. I had kidney stones. I thought I had a UTI when I had my kidney stones. That's what because a UTI can get up into your bladder and then it can get into your kidneys if you leave it untreated. So I was feeling that pain like inside my body. I thought that's what it was. So I went to the hospital and that's what I told them to look for. And then they gave me the whole scan. They're like, no, you have just dozens and dozens of kidney stones.
Huh.
Yeah, so you can get them if you want to flush yourself out. Cranberry juice, I'm told, is very effective at doing that. Okay, so I also think, how cool would this be if a bottled water company just went out to the ocean and like fished for an iceberg, just like put a big ass net around an iceberg, towed it back to shore, and then just put it in like a room that was kind of hot, and as it melted, then they bottled the iceberg. I bet you could sell that water. Like if you sold the water as this is water that sunk the Titanic, that would be sick. I bet you people would pay a shitload of money for that. And I don't think that anybody has rights to icebergs. Do people own icebergs?
That's a good question.
They melt.
Icebergs are freshwater.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So
if there was a way, I'm sure that they would be consumed for sure.
I would like to do that.
PFT, you're not going to believe this.
Yeah.
I Googled, do countries own icebergs? Like, are they part? This wild iceberg scheme could help sustain the world's thirstiest regions. A Middle Eastern firm plans to tow icebergs northward so they can be turned into vast amounts of drinking water.
Let's go.
Someone got to us before us.
If we succeed with this project, it could solve one of the world's biggest problems, said Abdullah Al-Shihi, founder of National Advisor Bureau, the United Arab Emirates-based firm. So that has been thought of and tried recently. This was 2018.
Okay.
Desalination plants are wild. They just like take ocean water and make fresh water.
But they don't have to do that with the iceberg, right? Because the icebergs
Right.
Yeah.
But think about this.
Like
There's so
expensive.
much salt water, and like think about evolution. Why didn't we evolve to drink salt water? Why are we drinking fresh water?
It's a good point, Billy. And there are a lot of bottled water companies that have salt in them, which just makes you thirstier.
No. All right. Well, let's get into this now.
It does make. Hold on, before we do that, there's this junk checking the pH balances of like the top 6 water bottle companies. Y'all wanna guess?
Yeah.
All right, so we got Voss, Smart Water. I haven't heard of this one. Waikia, Fiji, Essentia, and Evian. Are we guessing the pH?
All right. So ideally, you want a pH that's closer to 7. I know that Smart or Body Armor.
So this says it's 9+.
Because it's alkaline, right?
9+ is like the best, and then like when you start getting to 5, that's when it starts getting acidic.
Okay.
And that's like so 0 is like battery acid. That's like really acidic.
All right. So Fiji, I'm gonna guess 8 on a Fiji.
8 for Fiji. You got a guess for Fiji?
7.2.
7.2, Billy.
I'm gonna go with 9.
9. Okay, it's 7-7.
All right.
Not bad.
And
All right, let's go. Let's go with Evian.
Evian. Well, it says right here, natural spring water made by the French Alps.
The Alps got to have some more pH in there.
They got to have some. I'm going to stick with 8. I'm going to go 8 again.
I'm going to go 8-1.
Oh, fucking prices right.
$1.
You piece of shit, Big T.
You on, Billy Ocean?
I'm gonna go with 7-2.
It is fucking 7-2, bro.
I should have stuck with 7. I was going to do 7-2 for all of them.
That's insane, dog. Okay, let's go. Essentia.
7-2.
I'm going to go 6-9. I think Essentia is worse.
Billy, you look like you looking at something, fam.
7-2 again.
Nope, you're wrong. It's 9.5.
Oh damn!
What?
Wow.
9.5. Essentia is cracking.
Oh,
family.
should have guessed
Okay.
that. That's like the body armor.
Oh, is that alkaline water too?
Yeah, it's alkaline water. Yeah. So
Higher's less acidic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go with Waikia.
Waikia.
This was in a range. They gave this as a range. So like if you get close to the range, it's better. They gave it like a range.
I'm going to guess the full range. 6.3 to 7.1.
I think it's 6.4 to 7.4.
Okay. Billy, stop fucking Googling shit.
7-3.
Well, it's 7.6 to 8.2.
All right, so that's pretty good too.
So it's not bad, actually. Okay, we're going to go smart water here.
That's in the 9s.
Yeah, it's got to be. It's called Smart Water. So 9-2.
Asshole.
Billy, stop
3.2.
It's 6.5.
Oh, that's trash.
Holy shit, it's
Oh,
not good
Coley's
at all.
not. Coley. Okay.
Yeah. All right, last one. This is the bougie one. Voss.
Voss. Let's see.
8-6.
Yeah, it's basic.
7 flat.
8-7.
You son of a...
It's 6.0.
Fuck, that's
Damn.
trash.
Thank
That's
God what you're
acidic.
seeing. Yeah, bro. It's not that good.
Damn.
A lot of these shits be trash. It'd be the alkaline joints. So the alkaline joints in my little research are way better for pH.
Yeah, it's more hydrating, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's the only bottled water worth buying. Like when I'm hungover, like in my stomachs, and I'm like at the bodega, I'm like, let's pay up this morning.
What's a bodega?
You don't have bodegas. There's stores that have. They got snacks and also drinks and lotto tickets.
My dog.
Yeah,
Oh
they're amazing.
fuck! I bought a lotto ticket the other day and I lost it.
Wait, did it win?
We don't know. We may never know.
All right,
Fuck.
Big T, hit me with the conspiracy behind
All right,
salt
so-
in bottled water.
So yesterday I was hanging out with somebody and I mentioned that we were going to do bottled water on the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, oh, that's a crazy topic. I watched this YouTube video where this guy was talking about how Dasani is like all, they've got all sorts of shit going on with it. And there was that Shane Dawson video. Did y'all watch that?
I did not watch it.
I did.
Okay. Well, you mentioned the fizz thing earlier.
Yeah.
So they came up with all sorts of cockamamie things about Dasani. They're like, oh, it lists that it has this mineral in it that's like it's salt. And it's like, oh, that makes you thirstier, so you buy more. And then they somehow connected that with the fact that it's in theme parks, because theme parks have contracts with Coca-Cola.
Mm-hmm.
So that's Coke's water that they put in there. And they're like, oh, they do that to sell you more and all this shit. And basically there's this guy.
What they do at theme parks is, if you've ever been, they've got nothing but black roads that you walk around on. All the paths at theme parks are dark because they make you hotter when you walk on them, and then you have to go buy more stuff.
I mean, that makes sense.
That's a fact.
I
Yeah.
believe that. I don't believe that Dasani has crafted itself to... It has minerals in it so that it all tastes the same. This guy named Peter Glick, he's the author of Bottled and Sold, the story behind our obsession with bottled water. He pretty much said, quote, all water has minerals, and the different types of minerals sort of determine the taste for the water, and they want Dasani everywhere to taste the same. So he basically put all that to rest and said that that's fake news.
It's fake, but there are certain bottled waters that have different things inside them that actually they strip your bones of certain minerals.
Well, why would they want to do that?
It's just some of the chemicals that are in there. It's to a point where it's not like significant, but it does make you slightly more dehydrated drinking it than you would be if you drank just like pure tap water. Aaron, were you talking about something like that last week? Something about what your dad looked up or what he studied?
Right. No. So my dad is a PhD, or my stepdad is a PhD geneticist, and he always used to tell me like, "Yo, stop drinking bottled water," and I always just drink Dasani or Aquafina. That was my shit when I was in the league. And he was like, "You actually dehydrate yourself more if you drink that shit rather than just tap water." And I should have hit him up for this, but basically you need like 3 components to be hydrated. I think it's potassium, sodium, and there's one more.
Water.
there's one more that you need to be hydrated, right? And I can't remember what it is. But so the regular bottled waters don't actually give you that, and you're better off for hydration. You're better off drinking tap water for sure because it has the minerals that you need inside of it. And like Billy was talking about earlier, a lot of there's fluoride in there, and it freezes your pineal gland, like all that bullshit. That came from like propaganda from companies trying to dissuade you from drinking tap water. And tap water is probably the best source that there is. Alkaline water actually has a lot of good benefits, but tap water is still really good. And I say that, timidly because there are a lot of places in America where there aren't clean tap water sources, and there's still like Flint still doesn't have clean running tap water, and it's still fucked up. And there's actually people have been indicted because they have been negligent in taking care of that situation. But say all that to say, bottled water, the regular bottled water is pretty fucking trash. It's not good. Don't drink that shit. Tap water is better for you, but there are some alkaline bottled waters out there that are good, that have benefits for it.
Mm-hmm. And if you can drink the ocean, that's probably the best way to go. That is the most powerful water that you can have.
Billy gonna figure out how to convert salt water into drinking water, and we gonna be rich.
Well, they do that in I think they do in like the UAE. They make because it's like the desert, but they're like right on the ocean, so they make ocean water into fresh water.
What about that thing in Waterworld where Kevin Costner pissed into the machine and then he drank it afterwards?
Waterworld needs to be remade.
Hang on. What is this movie? What year was this movie?
Waterworld.
You don't know about Waterworld?
Nah, this was
96,
before 95.
my
time.
Waterworld was supposed to be the best movie of all time when it came out. Waterworld, it cost like probably, I don't know, $250 million to make, which was a shitload of money back in the mid-90s. And it had so much hype behind it. And then it was just trash.
Came out in 1995. It cost $175 million to make. It made $264 million.
PFT, are you saying that Waterworld was not a good movie?
I like the scene where Kevin Costner pisses into the thing and then he drinks it. It turns his piss into water. I think that's probably what their mistake was. They let off with that, and then my mind was just blown for the rest of the movie, so it didn't make any sense.
Bro, you know who's the GOAT at drinking their own piss?
No, I don't.
Bear Grylls.
Yeah, that's true.
That guy was like my hero growing up.
Did you say Derrick Rose?
Bear Grylls.
Oh, okay. You see my confusion. Okay, who's Bear Grylls?
He Man versus Wild. He went out with Marshawn Lynch once, like on a survival thing.
Is that the nigga who pissed like in a snake skin and kept it for later?
Yep.
Okay, I see that shit.
English dude.
Hella
that
wild,
guy was
man.
awesome.
Yeah, he made a camelback of a snake's carcass and filled it with his own piss. He's like, I'll need to drink this later. And then just casually carried it around for an entire episode. A fucking dead snake filled it with his piss.
Fucking
Can you
wild,
imagine
dog.
that poor snake?
Actually,
like, you spit... Imagine all the different, like, lucky things and circumstances that have to hit just right for that snake to ever be born in the first place. And then for that snake to survive to adulthood, only to be strangled by Bear Grylls for a TV show. And then he puts his little British uncircumcised cock in you and pisses up your entire body and then carries you around.
Your mouth.
And then
pisses in your mouth.
And then throws you away at the end of the episode. He's like, don't need this anymore. See you later, snake.
You were my desert flask. You were my fucking...
dude. Oh, we were talking shit about old dudes, like in
shit. Bro,
their,
I gotta
like,
go to the bathroom.
information.
Speaking of that shit, I had to.
But like one thing that they did tell us to do is like to piss on our feet in the shower to prevent athlete's foot because like piss is sterile.
Yeah, piss helps with athlete's feet. Moises Alou used to pee on his hands all the time. Moises Alou never wore batting gloves when he would come up to bat, and he'd have like the most calloused hands ever, and he used to piss on them in the shower because he believed that made them more powerful. It made like your skin
serious?
tougher. Dead serious.
Yeah, you never heard that? I think Jorge Posada did it too.
Yeah, and if you get stung by a jellyfish, best thing you can do is piss on it.
In World War I, you pissed on your feet to prevent trench foot.
Yeah.
That's where it comes from.
I remember at the beach, this was, I think, the summer after my junior year in college, lived at the beach. It was a great time. And my girlfriend got stung by a jellyfish. And I was like, just pee on it. She couldn't pee on it. So I just peed on her at the beach. She asked me to. She was like, please. She was like, can you pee on it? It stings too bad. So I just whipped it out, peed on her, saved the day. Honestly, I felt like a magician.
Is this a real story?
Yeah. It helps. No joke.
I know. That's a crazy thing to have happen.
Am I a hero? Some would say yes.
Some would say that.
I mean, she was in pain, and she was no longer in pain.
By the way, I just read the plot summary of Waterworld. Doesn't seem like that great of a movie.
Why? Because
I feel like I've got to wait till Arian comes back to say that.
It's about climate change.
Okay, first of all, come on.
Big T
dude.
doesn't.
Come on, dude.
I see what the problem is here, Big T. It takes place in 2500, in the year 2500. You think that that's way too long, that we're going to hit Waterworld in like the next 50 years, right?
I don't know. Arian, I read the... Can you hear me?
Yep.
I read the plot summary for Waterworld, and it sounds kind of trash.
What the fuck? How, bro?
It just seems... The ending is so, like... I don't know. I don't get it. Maybe I've got to watch it.
All right. There's a world. That nobody knows that there's dry land. Maybe there was a fucking flood, Big T, right?
Could have been.
And right? Fucking global flood that Jesus or God or whatever
Sounds like it.
put down on the earth, and niggas still got to survive, and not everybody made it into the boat, right? Because he has favorites, right? And so it's the world full, and they develop crews and cliques and have to survive, and one of them niggas like, and evolution takes over. Niggas got gills, like come on, and there's a myth of dry land. There's a myth of dry land. That's why I said it needs to be remade. It's made in the 90s. Most 90s movies are fucking trash because we're living 2021, and so 30 years ago, shit's trash. But like, if we remake it today with modern technology, and like, that should be hard, bro.
And with Vin Diesel maybe as the main character.
No.
That'd be sick.
Younger.
They should just make it the entire plot of Mad Max Fury Road, except on the ocean,
on water.
And, yeah, and just have a bunch of like crazy bug-looking ships. Yeah, now we're talking.
Basically, yeah.
And
it was dope about Waterworld. They had a like, you know, they have to have the antagonists. The antagonists were somebody called smokers, and they had all like the technology. They had like they had guns and helicopters and all kind of crazy shit. So it's like, it's prime for like a nowadays revival. Another one I might have mentioned this one already is the Island of Dr. Moreau. That one's another one needs to be remade.
Yeah, that's like an old story, right? That they turned. Yeah, you're right. There are a bunch of movies from the 90s that they need to think about redoing again with modern technology, because at that point, like, we thought that our technology was a lot further along than it really was. Like, the ideas were there, the execution was trash.
Isn't that why the Star Wars got made out of order? Because like George Lucas, like the way he wanted to make the first 3 movies, he was like, we don't have the technology for this yet. So instead of waiting, he just made like 4, 5, and 6, and he was like, we'll just do the other ones later.
That takes some balls to do that. To be like,
I heard that somewhere. I don't know if that's true or not.
I'm a Star Trek guy. I don't know nothing about Star Wars.
I'm gonna go with Big T on this one. I think that's absolutely correct.
I don't know.
That no Star Wars fans will ever correct you on that. The only other thing I had about tap water is sometimes my water just turns red. It's kind of fucked up in New York. You turn like the faucet on and it's like rust. One time I filled up my entire bathtub with like rust red water, and it's when there's too much sediment in it. I like complained about it. I was like, what the fuck is up with this? It's the best tap water in the world, and it looks like blood in my bathtub. And people were like, actually, bro, that's just sediment that hasn't settled yet. It's totally fine. I was like, well, no, it's not, because I don't want to shower in this. I don't want to drink it because it's dark red. But apparently, it's not like that big of a problem, as long as you don't mind red water that tastes like iron.
Do you think that when people are like, oh, New York City tap water is the best, that's why the pizza and the bagels are so good, do you actually think New York tap water is good? Because I've drank it. I think it tastes bad.
I think it tastes fine. I think it just tastes like normal water for the most part. And I would drink more tap water if it was easier to just like carry it around with me everywhere. I put stuff down. I lose bottles too much. I can't do it.
Well, I think bottled water has kind of disguised what water's supposed to actually taste like. So they take a lot of the minerals out, and so like I mean, think about like, have you ever seen like Man versus what the fuck, like 40-year-old virgin, Naked and Afraid,
Yeah.
right? So
Where did you come up with 40-year-old virgin?
This is what I'm thinking, because like in Naked and Afraid XXL, they stay out there for 40 days and 40 nights. So I was like, my mind, that's how my ions fired or neurons fired. So like, well, I learned this from this show, and it checks out. So it's like, if there's like a water source, right, and you dig next to it or like close to it, and water runs from it, like that's actually purified, right? Like it's clear to drink, and you won't get sick from it, because the sediment and the dirt and all that stuff actually acts as a purifier, and it takes out all the harmful bacteria. Fascinating shit. So like, what we think of as pure water, like the mountain springs, it's not real. It's not a thing. It's supposed to taste a little grainy, a little dirty. That's how it's supposed to taste like, right? And so I was doing a little digging, and so like, there's top 10 cities of clean water to drink. You want to hear this shit?
Yeah.
I'm gonna
guess.
This is as of 2020.
All right, everybody gets one guess as to a city that they think is in the top 10. I think Seattle is in the top 10, just because that would be such a fucking Seattle thing for them to always like harp on about. It's like, we're so outdoors. We've got great outdoors in our city, and water's outdoors. So I'm going to go with Seattle.
Okay.
I'm going to go with New York. I know where the water comes from in New York. I'm pretty confident.
Okay.
I think I remember hearing one
Knoxville,
time.
Tennessee.
No, I think I remember hearing one time that Murfreesboro is supposed to have like really good tap water.
Murphy's would pick somewhere in Tennessee. Isn't Harris?
So that's
hilarious.
my guess.
All right, here we go. This is from thetravel.com. I didn't check their source. Sue me. Number 10 is New York City.
All right, Billy's right.
Number 9 is Stevens Point, Wisconsin. That's wild. Number 8 is Chicago.
Whoa.
That actually fuck. They say it doesn't actually flow from Illinois though.
Lake Michigan.
Yep, comes from Lake Michigan. Yep. Wow. Number 7 is Denver.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Fast.
Mount Water.
Number 6 is Manchester, New Hampshire.
I'm seeing a pattern here.
Number 5 is Fort Collins, also in Colorado. Number 4 is Greenville, South Carolina.
Whoa.
Holy shit.
Is that like Smoky Mountain runoff?
I have no. It says. They have a great report very smooth. Greenville's tap water roots of the Blue Ridge foothills. So it's like some kind of mountain, probably. Number 3 is Silverdale, Washington.
That's Seattle. That's close enough to Seattle.
That's
for me.
good. I'll give you that one. Number 2 is Oklahoma City.
Whoa.
And it's from like man-made lakes. That's interesting.
That's
actually
weird.
Interesting.
I guess they got real clean rocks in Oklahoma City.
Real clean rock.
They do.
Number 1. Wow. Number 1 is Louisville, Kentucky. They said the water is filtered through sand and gravel and undergoes hundreds of tests every day to make sure that it's safe and clean. The water comes from the Ohio River, which is amazing considering how dirty it should be.
So that's where they get the water to make bourbon. That's why they say that. I know like the main ingredients, you get the water that is like filtered through all that stuff you mentioned, and then they use the pine barrels from the Ozarks, from the Ozark Mountains. And it's like the combination of those things that makes bourbon what actually bourbon is. But I would not have guessed Louisville. Doesn't seem like a clean water city to me.
New York surprised me because there's so many people there.
No, they get the water from upstate. I actually like know the reservoirs because I low key like used to go swimming in them, which you're not technically allowed to do.
Wow,
so wait,
fucking poisoning all of New York City's water.
No, I mean it gets filtered after, but like there's like a couple places to go cliff jumping around there.
We're drinking
like
Billy Football's bathwater.
No, I promise I didn't pee in it.
You're a gusset glue from Willy.
I think I've just admitted to a federal crime, but parody law. But it's like some of the nicest like lakes of water ever.
I hope you don't have any terrorists that listen to this podcast that know how easy it is to get into water supply. But it's okay. Billy said that you've got like a water guy. You've got a reservoir guy up in New York.
Like I know where they. I mean, a terrorist wouldn't be able to figure out how to get there. No, like seriously, like.
Only Billy could figure it out.
Only Billy can.
What?
No, but it's really cool spots. It's pretty untouched. It's really cool.
Except for Billy swimming in it and peeing in it, probably.
Did you pee in it?
Of course he did.
Dude, I was like.
Did you pee in it, Billy?
I don't remember.
You peed in it.
He peed in it.
Peed in it.
You were
A
that
second
drunk.
ago it was that you definitely didn't. Now it's that you don't remember.
Yeah, he peed in our water. It's
I'm
okay.
here.
It's right. Fish pee in our water all the time. That's the way I look at it.
The first thing you do when you go into water is pee in it.
Yep.
Absolutely.
It's natural.
It's the
like
first thing you want to do.
You're walking into a toilet.
There's a fucking TMZ article. It was like years ago. Them motherfuckers got it out for me. But I said on Twitter, I was like, yo, I pee in the hot tub. Like pretty much every time I get in the hot tub, right? Because the chlorine filters all that stuff out. And like they actually wrote an article about me peeing in the hot tub. And like a bunch of people are opposed to it. Also, peeing in the shower is frowned upon.
Oh no!
Since when?
You gotta pee in the shower.
To who?
Niggas on Twitter.
That's outrageous. I don't get into the shower without peeing.
Yeah, I thought it was mandatory. Honestly,
It's hard to not pee.
Pee on your feet?
huh?
Did you pee on your feet in the shower to get rid of athlete's foot?
No, nigga. No.
It's a real thing. It helps. I'm told it helps. Also, we
I don't
talked about
think
this when
that's
you
a
were
thing. Is
when
that
you
a
were
thing?
peeing. You probably went to the bathroom and peed on your feet in the bathroom a second ago. But when you pee on your hands, it makes your hands tougher too.
You sound like a high school coach, my brother.
Yeah.
Speaking
Right.
Speaking of peeing, do you guys see that piss wall that I posted on the Macrodosing page? It went viral. A lot of people love that. It was like you stand on the grate and you piss on the wall. No, it wasn't even a trough. It was like just a wall to pee on. It was like stand on grate, pee on wall. Awesome.
Hang on. Where is this?
It's
I saw that.
amazing.
I saw that.
Amazing.
It's on the Twitter page.
It really makes troughs look like second-class citizens at that point.
Yeah.
Just if you have a pee wall. It's really just, it's like Dexter's kill room that he had in that TV show, except for pissing.
Yeah.
Just your piss room. You just go in and just let it fly, whatever.
I feel like the grate might be a little too close to stand. Like the splatter on that thing might be a lot.
Yeah, there's got to be more distance.
Yep.
I'm with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Otherwise, I'm a fan. Yeah.
You just take a hose in there and spray down the entire room. That is sweet.
Like
I love that.
You ever seen those urinals that have that pad on the bottom that is like scented? So when you hit it, like there's like that needs to be ingrained with either the trough or the pee wall.
Have y'all ever peed in a urinal that has like a field goal post in it?
Yeah.
That should be mandatory.
I have not
They
had that.
gamify peeing. Yeah.
Also, there's a company in England. I remember writing a blog about it a long time ago. They're making urinal games that like there's a sensor that tracks your stream of piss, and you like go skiing or something.
Yeah, I've done that with horse races. So you know how like you have the carnival game that you shoot the water thing at and your horse moves? Yeah, you can do that with your own piss. It's awesome.
Love that. You want people like if you're a bar, that is a worthwhile investment.
Yes. Listen, I'm a mover and a shaker. I need to be entertained even when I'm in the bathroom.
I would go out of my way to go to a bar that had something like that.
So like you go to the bar with like 3 or 4 of your dogs, and you're like, all right, it's time to go pee. And the losing horse buys the next round. That's actually kind of fire.
I like that.
I would go out of my way to go to that bar.
Yeah, I like that shit actually.
I love it. You guys got anything else, or you want to dive into a couple more questions here? A couple reader comments.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid of tap water. It's better for you. That's my only thing. If anybody's listening to this, tap water is not that bad. Unless check your local listings. They'll tell you what the pH of your water is.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, Dasani actually did get in trouble for having too much bromate in their water in the UK, and they basically the UK made their water illegal. That was a real controversy with Dasani, and they had to pull all their products from the UK in sponsorship deals. was in 2004.
Damn.
No, wait. Yeah, 2004.
That's probably where the aborted fetuses rumor came from.
Yeah.
This podcast is brought to you by our great friends over at BetterHelp. It's sponsored by BetterHelp Online Therapy. It's Mental Health Awareness Month. Barstool Sports is proud to support destigmatizing mental health. It's Mental Health Awareness Month. You know that here at Barstool we support getting everybody the help that they need, whether you're a veteran, whether you're somebody that has just dealt with anxiety, someone who's dealt with stress, PTSD, you name it. Maybe you just need an unbiased person to talk to. Without a healthy mind, being happy is hard. So if this is for you, therapy can give you the tools to make life a little bit easier. I went to see a therapist a few years ago, going through some painful loss in my life. They helped me talk my way through it, made me feel a lot better, made me feel grounded. It's just good to have somebody to talk to, somebody that you can kind of communicate clearly with, and they can help you figure out exactly what's making you feel, whether anxiety, if it's stress, if, again, it's PTSD. It's always helpful to talk to somebody. You guys should do it if you feel like you're in a position where you could be feeling better mentally. I highly recommend seeing a therapist. BetterHelp can help you out. It's customized online therapy. You get video, phone, even live chat sessions with your therapist, so you don't have to see anybody on camera if you don't want to. It's much more affordable than in-person therapy, and you can start communicating with your therapist in under 48 hours. So this podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp. Our listeners are going to get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/dose. So it's 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/dose. Here he is, Frank the Tank, doing the water taste test. We got Frank in the studio today. Frank is our resident expert when it comes to judging various soft drinks. He's got the most refined palate in the office. You do soda reviews. You know Frank the Tank. You've seen him do these before. So we're going to try and see if Frank can tell us which one of the bottled waters tastes the best. We've got Poland Springs. We've got Fiji. We've got Dasani. We've got Evian. And then we've got New York City tap water. Is it Evian or Evian?
I say Evian.
Evian. That's bougie.
Now, you ever notice something about Evian, don't you?
No. What do you notice?
Naive spelled backwards.
Oh, wow. It is.
It's what spelled backwards?
Naive.
Wow.
Naive. Okay, Frank's already bringing the knowledge.
Little foreshadowing here. I see.
Mind blown. The only thing I know about Evian is that dude from Firefest would have sucked that other guy's dick to get a crate of it. That's all I know. That's all right. Iconic moment. All right, so I've got these cups labeled underneath. I'm gonna fill them up with just a splash because we don't want you having to pee while you're in the studio here, Frank. So we'll do just a little bit.
A little ASMR.
Yeah, there you go.
We can't be looking at you while you pouring it.
I'm gonna mix them up. I'm gonna mix them up afterwards.
Or you one of those street vendors with the?
Yeah. Big T, what's your favorite kind of water?
Unpopular opinion. I love Dasani.
You would.
I think it's probably an Atlanta thing because that's like Coca-Cola, so that's the water that's everywhere. But
so maybe y'all have stumbled across this in your research for this episode, but there is a conspiracy about Dasani that they have aborted.
You know what's good is the.
Frank, you have to wear headphones because Arian was just talking a second ago.
Oh, I'm ready to refute some of the Dasani conspiracies. People talk shit about Dasani too much.
I don't believe that shit. It's just out there.
Yeah.
Bro, saying Dasani's your favorite water is like, did anyone see Andrew Yang was like, Times Square is my favorite subway station? That was like Michael Scott being like, my favorite New York City pizza joint, Sbarro.
Well, I mean, honestly, I would expect that from Big T. I imagine that Big T drinks the majority of his bottled water at theme parks, and Dasani is the
I
theme park
exclusively drink bottled water. I don't drink tap water.
That's so weird.
I won't do it.
All right, well, so here's part of the conspiracy Arian alluded to. Like, when you open up Dasani, apparently it makes a fizz, and that's what that dude, Shane Dawson, was on YouTube.
Oh,
He's like, that's a conspiracy because it fizzes. So let's see if it fizzes. There's no fizz.
I didn't hear a fizz.
No fizz.
Our scientific experiment did not yield a fizz.
Okay.
Hey, does Scott Peterson drink Dasani?
It's a great question. Well, not now that he's wrongfully in prison. They got dog shit water there.
I actually bet prison water is probably pretty good.
I'm about to say that water's probably better than Dasani.
Yeah.
You think?
Yeah, they definitely. It
Tap.
comes from like a city, so they test it.
And
Okay.
especially depends on what city. There's a lot of like, I don't know if you've been to Portland. I haven't looked at the list. We should probably pull that up. But like, there's like Portland, Oregon, has some of the best tasting tap water I've ever had in my life, dog. Like, I'll be in the shower and I'll drink that shit. It's so good.
Okay, Frank. We're gonna start now. You ready?
All right, yes.
Okay. Water number 1. Tell me what you think about that. Just pounded it. Chug.
Basic water. I wouldn't say that it's too bad. I'd give it the standard 5.7.
5.7. Okay. Next up.
Yeah, I don't notice any difference. So
Frank,
I'm gonna
can
give
you tell which is which?
No.
Do you give that one a 5.7 too?
Yes.
Okay. Try this. You might like this one a little bit better.
Tastes a little flatter than the other ones. I'm gonna give this a 5.5.
Ooh. Okay.
Flat water.
5.7 and a 5.5.
About the same. 5.6.
5.6. Okay. And then last one.
You know, all basically about the same. 5.7, 5.5, 5.6.
Well, no, you have to specify because you gave that one a 5.6, that one a 5.5, and those two a 5.7.
I'll give this one a 5.6.
A 5.6. Okay, so your favorites. Frank's favorites tied with a 5.5. Poland Spring and Fiji.
It doesn't surprise me. I do like Poland Spring.
His least favorite. New York City tap water. Incompetent.
Is that the one that he said was flatter?
That's the one that he said was flat. Yeah.
Okay.
And then the other two were Dasani, and then the very last one was Naive, Evian. All right. So, I mean,
And Evian's more expensive. They're ripping you off.
I'm impressed that you were able to differentiate enough to give the decimal point score on that.
Yeah, the one in the New York tap water was a little flat.
Okay. Do you typically not like tap water?
No, I don't really have an issue with it. It's not much different, but it doesn't taste as good. You know what it is? It's I don't think it was purified. And most of these waters are purified water. I mean, Poland Spring, all it is main tap water.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's part of the Nestle conglomerate. What's the best glass of water you've ever had in your life?
The best glass of water I've ever had in my life. I think it might be from where my parents live in Idaho, coming out of the tap water over there.
Yeah, very pure stuff. I truly believe that I could tell the difference between my kitchen sink water, my bathroom sink water, and my hose water growing up. If you gave those to me in a glass, I know exactly what all three of those taste like.
The hose water always got that little metallic taste.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's basically runs through the hose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tastes better.
You know, here's a story. I actually knew a guy that was like a contractor in New Jersey, and he worked for a member of the Baseball Hall of Fame. And he was working on his yard, and he was taking some water out of the hose, and this member of the Baseball Hall of Fame, and I won't mention his name, cut off his access to the water, and would not allow him to drink out of the hose.
Well, you have to tell us who this member of the Baseball Hall of Fame is, Frank.
Give us a hint.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Harry Carey?
I don't know enough about baseball. Was that the clue, or are you just saying?
That's the clue. Holy cow.
Oh.
Wait, why? Who cares if he cut off the water?
Because he wasn't letting the guy drink while he was working outside.
Oh, it was his house.
Yes.
Oh,
Why
Jesus.
he do that though? That's like an asshole move.
There was a keychain made of him on a fake TV show.
You gotta help me out here.
I think you got it.
I think that's right.
It's Harry Carey, right?
No.
Harry Carey, I don't think ever drank. He doesn't care about water. He just drank Budweiser.
Is it the other Chicago guy?
It's a.
Phil Rizzuto.
There you go.
Frank, don't you hate water?
I'm not a big water guy. I
Like I said, I'm not a big water guy, bro. You're 70% water, bro.
Yeah,
very big water guy.
yeah, but I prefer soda.
That's well.
I think we all do.
It's to you, fam. I do not.
You don't?
Soda's trash, except for Dr. Pepper.
You know, ironically,
and
Dr. Pepper's probably my least favorite soda.
Well, that's where we part ways, my brother.
I'm with you.
There and only there.
Dr. Pepper is the superior soda.
I can taste all 23 flavors. It's amazing.
I think that Dr. Pepper is one of those drinks that it varies regionally, because I remember like my mom was raised in North Carolina, and then when we'd go to like visit her parents down there, she would be like, "This is the good Dr. Pepper. It comes from a different plant down here where they put all the flavors in." I don't know if that's true or not, but when you hear like a mom or a dad saying that, it sounds real.
I actually know the story. There used to be 2 Dr. Peppers, and what happened was the Dublin Bottling Works in Texas used real sugar while everyone else was switching to the fructose corn syrup. And this Dublin Bottling Company, and so all the this Dr. Peppers that came from this Dublin Bottling Works had the real sugar. And finally, Dr. Pepper says, "No, we're not going to let you do that anymore. You can't. No, you can't do that. You had to serve." And you go, "No, we're not going to put the corn syrup in there." He says, "Well, we're going to take away your license to sell Dr. Pepper." And there was a big lawsuit. And this company called the Dublin Bottling Works actually now starts coming out with their own sodas. They almost were put out of business, but they rebounded and they started their own company called Dublin Soda. And they're in Dublin, Texas, and they have like their Dublin Soda, which is, I forgot what it was called, but it's like the Dublin version of Dr. Pepper.
Yeah, I've seen that before. I didn't know that was
Mr. Pibb. Mr. Pibb.
No, Dublin Bottling Works.
I've seen that. I've seen Dublin Dr. Pepper, like on a menu at a restaurant. I've seen them list Dublin Dr. Pepper before.
Yeah.
That's why.
Well, that's why Mexican Coke tastes better. I mean, some people think it tastes better than American Coke because they still use cane sugar.
No, it absolutely is
does.
better.
Yeah.
Also, the 8-ounce glass bottles of Coke are the best ones.
I can't fuck with those because it's like taking a shot. It's too small. It's like a Capri Sun.
They taste so much better though.
But it's their point.
What was like? Who was behind the switch from from cane sugar to high fructose corn syrup? Because it seems like we downgraded substantially.
That's a good question, Coley. I'm pretty sure it has to do with the corn industry, right? They were like, let's make everything out of corn.
Money.
No, so it was dependence on foreign versus domestic sugar sources, and it had to do with like big agra kind of and like Monsanto and stuff.
Money.
I feel like we use corn for enough stuff. I don't know if we need to jam it into like
if
a
you think
Snickers
about
bar.
it, just look at the ethanol.
Yeah,
well, we got to import. We got to import sugar.
So I think
I get that.
It goes back to like the 60s and the 70s when Castro was trying to change the business that Cuba was in. They were trying to industrialize, and it didn't work out. And then they had to do like a big switch back to being an agricultural society again. And so they set this like really super high goal. Castro was like, we're going to export, I think it was 10 million tons of sugarcane this year. And so Cuba was trying to reposition itself as a global power, relying on their one major cash crop. And I think at that point, a lot of stuff in the United States started to switch over to corn syrup. I could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure that like not wanting to rely on Cuba for a lot of our shit led us to be like, hey, let's just use corn syrup, which, yeah, it might not be as healthy, but at least we're self-sufficient, like to an extent.
It actually isn't not as healthy. It's just different. Like if you look at it, they're both super processed and just like sugars from like plants just brought down to like the molecular level of like fructose versus like glucose. It's like that's kind of a myth that corn syrup is less healthy. It tastes different, but it's not less healthy.
That's why I stick to saccharin. The pink packet stuff. That stuff's real sick.
Stevia?
Yeah.
Trash. Too.
It's all
It is
different.
trash.
You know?
Is there any worse tasting substitute formula than Sweet and Low? That doesn't even taste like sugar. That's like putting a lime on my table and being like, here's our substitute salt.
And other people who have strong lobbyists, they're on every table in every diner in America. Like how did Big Sweet and Low get in the mix so easily?
Yeah, they've got great salespeople. I think that like the best lobbying firms, I would say like whoever puts Sweet and Low and Equal on every table in America, and then whoever was in charge of getting the Scholastic Book Fair put into every single elementary school in America, and then turning every little kid into their little salespeople, running around making their parents buy their books from Scholastic. Hats off to you, whoever came up with that and signed that deal.
Bro, but Big Sugar, that's like the source of like the conspiracy about fluoride in water and stuff. They say it's not like as, dark as people think, like, oh, like, like it's trying to control the population and lower their IQs. It was actually that like sugar was starting to become mainstream and like sugary stuff. And like they were producing in such a volume and kids were consuming so much more of it because it was in everything. And it was giving everyone cavities. So they're trying to be like, how can we make the kids' teeth stronger so they can consume this much higher sugary diet? And they think that Big Sugar may have been behind a lot of like the fluorification of U.S. water. But like, that's sort of the dark, like the conspiracy, like the sort of conspiracy that's hidden by like the whole like IQ stuff behind the fluoride thing. So that's like what's kind of interesting. Like, no, they're not trying to make everyone dumb and like sheep. They're just trying to make everyone's teeth be able to consume more sugar.
I like that. Get it on both ends. I like that theory a lot, Billy. And also, if it wasn't for fluoride in the water, your frogs would not be consenting to getting kissed by you all the time because they'd be heterosexual. So, tip of the cap to you,
Big Sugar.
Yeah,
really.
Thank you. I actually like the name Big Sugar as like the name of a smooth singing like R&B guy,
Like Ruben Studdard, yeah.
Maybe like an old jazz guy too, Big Sugar.
Big Sugar.
Like, or at least he's the guy that watches the door. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, Big Sugar will let you in.
All right, Frank. Well, thank you very much for joining us. It's good to know that at the top of your list is Fiji and Poland Springs.
There was an old joke that Marvelyn Hagler went to a diner, and he asked for a cup of coffee, and then he took a sip of the coffee and then spit it out and says, "What's wrong with this coffee?" He goes, I asked for sugar," and the waitress says, "Don't you know you can't handle the sugar?" And that was after he got beat by Sugar Ray Leonard.
I like that. Makes you think. I like it, Frank.
That went over my head, my G.
All right, buddy.
Thanks,
you, Frank.
All right.
Take care, brother.
That segment was called Frank You Very Much.
Thanks, Frank. Now, let me tell you about something I've been using and basically living off of is Trifecta Nutrition. Trifecta Nutrition is the best meal prep on earth. All their meal plans are created by chefs and nutritionists to help people get into the best shape of their lives. Trifecta makes meal prep not suck. All of their meals are backed by nutrition science and taste great. Making it is super simple. Trust me, I've done it. And it honestly is one of the most convenient ways I've been able to feed myself as of late. It's better than delivery because, there's no time to wait for it. You just keep it in your fridge, take it out, warm it up however you want to do it. I love putting it in the air fryer. It has honestly helped me get in some of the best shape of my life. And honestly, I actually fully, sign off on this product. It's honestly awesome. They use, fresh, never frozen food. The food quality is actually amazing. And, you can honestly get it for 40% off with promo code DOSE. Go to trifectanutrition.com/dose for this exclusive offer. Honestly, if you're a young guy and you want to budget out your meal prep and grocery bills correctly, go use this promo code 40% off and go trifectanutrition.com/dose because it's going to actually change your life. You should do it.
Are we got any other any spicy water takes or comments?
Well, so one comment I saw talked about how we touched upon a little bit how water bottles, if you leave them in the heat and you drink, the theory is that you can get cancer from it. Sheryl Crow actually went on the Ellen show and claimed that she drank water from a bottle left in her car and it caused her to get breast cancer in 2017. Doctors actually debunked it and said it was a minimal threat towards cancer.
I was going to say, like, how can you prove that that's the exact event that it came from? Like, could you tell me exactly which Black and Mild I smoked that gave me, like, lung cancer? That'd be sick if you could.
We find out you out here puffing blacks, man.
I used to smoke exclusively Black and Milds. I used to tell myself that it's not as bad as smoking cigarettes, and I didn't smoke cigarettes. I just smoked Black and Milds. And when they came out with the wood tip on it back in like the early 2000s, they came out with the wine flavor. The wine flavor was a game changer at that point. And they also had filters, but I never would get the filter ones. Just always the wood tip, the wines, occasionally the vanilla flavored ones, and then sometimes the regular ones. But yeah. It was far superior tasting to smoking cigarettes.
So that's hilarious, man. Yeah, I went on a little kick in college and then recently actually, but I got to get off that shit. So.
Did you inhale?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah, I ain't even gonna endorse it. Don't smoke tobacco.
Yeah, although it was very satisfying grabbing the filter of the Black and Mild. You could just like flick it because you could get that little opening with your thumbnail. You flick it a little bit, and boom, the cleanest ash you'll ever have in your life.
Also, if you get hella faded, one hit, it just takes you to the next level, and it's amazing.
But don't do it, though. Don't do it. Don't do it. What else we got here, Avery?
This person said aliens came up with bottled water so we'd burn up our resources quicker so they could easily wipe us out with no alien casualties.
Okay. Yeah.
How did they come up with bottled water yet not ever visit here?
No, I like that theory a lot. It makes sense.
Well, except for the fact that
eat us from the inside out.
How was it introduced?
They put one person down on Earth in human form using their superior technology that blends in. That person advances to the rank of senior vice president at Nestle. Boom. The rest is history.
This person said water tastes better from a bottle if you partially cover the hole with your mouth rather than stick your mouth all the way in the hole.
All the way around the hole.
I don't disagree. So this is why I say so. Like I had a man's that we played ball with, and so like when you in the middle of practice and you hella thirsty, we used to have in college and pros, but this is what happened in the pros. And they used to have those little miniature bottles of Gatorade. Mm-hmm. And so he used to just pour it in his mouth and let a lot of it run down. I'm like, my nigga, what are you doing? And he was like, it tastes better like that. Like if you just don't chug it, just kind of like let it run into your mouth. And he was convinced. And I tried it, and maybe I was just tired that day, but it did taste a little better. I don't know, maybe it oxygenated it more.
Yeah.
Oxygenated it more. I don't know, but I don't disagree.
Like pouring your water into one of those big ass wine decanters before you pour it into like a glass and then you drink it. I guess oxygen makes things taste different. That's like a legit thing.
Because also, on the other side, so when people are around me and I'm eating food, I smack. Like some people hate when you smack, but I feel like when you smack, you can taste the food more because it lets oxygen in. That's just how I feel when I close my mouth and I eat. I just feel like I can taste the food better. It could be bullshit, it's purely anecdotal. It feels like the food tastes better when I get to open my mouth.
That's what bartenders do when they're making like a mojito and they get the mint out. They slap it on the table. You smack it and it releases more of the aroma. It releases more of the flavor.
Oh, what do you guys think about tap water? It always tastes so good in like those brown like plastic cups that you get. I don't know where. I'm trying to think of places that have them. You know what I'm talking about? If you go to like a not like a diner. But there's places that have these brown, like weird plastic cut. You know what I'm talking
about? They're like see-through.
Yeah,
like there's some they're diners.
Yeah,
and they're always like there's ice. I know what you're talking about, and they're like in a lot of cafeterias too.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's like a cafeteria cup.
Translucent.
Yep.
Yeah, water does hit different out of those. It's always like a little bit colder.
Yeah, absolutely.
And always really good ice, and it's always like the half moon shaped ice that's in those cups.
Yep.
Waffle House.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Waffle House.
Absolutely. What do you guys think about the bottle flipping phenomenon? So, someone said that they did
big
that
water?
to. Yep. Someone said that they did that to increase the release of microplastics in our drinks.
I like that. They were probably also like trying to market to the TikTok generation. Or that was Vine at the time. Like
That was 2016. That's when that was. It was that I Am the One video.
Yeah. And then
What got it popping?
there was also the one where you would just like slightly raise the side of the top of the bottle and unscrew the cap using different things. You're right. There's a lot of viral bottled water content out there.
There is.
It is suspicious.
The goat bottled water thing, when you like unscrew the cap a little bit, then you twist the bottle, and then it makes like a gunshot noise.
Wait, what?
Oh yeah. It's the one where you twist the bottle and you spin the cap really hard.
Avery, do it with the Poland Spring bottle.
All right, I got the Poland Springs right here. Billy instruct me on what to do.
Drink the whole thing.
Killing that shit. He's killing that shit. You killed that shit. You'll be so fucking hydrated. Or maybe not.
Oh, then there's another. Actually, I have a
So now put the cap on. So now put the cap
all the
back
way?
on. Yep, all the way.
Okay.
And now twist the bottle from the middle. Like, so like turn it, like take the top part and the bottom part and twist the middle. No, not with the cap. Like, yeah, Big T will show you. Yep, like that.
Oh, like that. Okay, gotcha. Okay.
So twist it as much as you can. Like really twist it. Yep.
Don't point at anybody.
Yeah, don't point at anybody.
I'm not.
Yep. Get
Point
as
at-
much
point
to
at
the
Big
top.
T.
Do not.
All right.
I can already tell.
Now hold it, like hold the tightness,
Yep.
and then with your thumb spin the cap to open it. Yeah. Like as hard as you can.
Holy shit!
Oh, wow.
Oh shit! It's smoking.
Fuck
Yep.
Look at that.
Serious?
It's smoking afterwards. Yeah.
Yep.
Bro, dude, you like do that like detention or something when you just like, and then the sound goes off and everyone like looks around because they have no idea what just happened.
I was surprised right there. I ain't gonna lie.
I bet like high school cafeteria workers absolutely hated that.
Yeah, I mean,
Billy probably did that 3 times a day.
and then there's the other trick where you, what do you do? I forget. Oh yeah, you fill it up and then you crunch it.
Oh yeah, you can drink a whole bottle in like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
I've done that one.
Mm-hmm.
There's the other one where like you like, I seen it on TikTok. It was like a little trend where you like pretend like you put an egg in there or something. You on the bottom, and then somebody goes and looks and you squeeze that shit and it goes in their face.
Avery, go back up to that Kanye tweet that was on the thing. I wholeheartedly agree with that. For the tweet says this from Kanye West. I hate when I'm on a flight and I wake up with a water bottle next to me like, oh great, now I have to be responsible for this water bottle. I hate they hand you too much shit on planes now. Now they give you a little antibacterial wipe. You've got to keep track of that. I hate keeping track of things on planes. I just wanted to go on that tangent.
It's first world problems, dog.
I mean, Kanye West has first world problems too.
1,000%.
Bro, bottled water is like
They
the
do.
best.
Kanye West was the dumbest genius of all time.
It's a good way to put it.
A lot of people talk about how like bottled water, the greatest thing is when you wake up in the middle of the night and there's just bottled water sitting right next. Like I used to take 2 back with me before I would go to bed because I knew I would wake up in the middle of the night and that bottled water just hits different when you wake up at like 4 a.m. You're like, water.
Mm-hmm.
Water is the greatest invention of all time.
Hank came up with an idea that was just like a tube of water that runs from the back of your hotel headboard.
Yeah.
That just has ice cold water in it that comes out of the wall. And so you just like, if you're thirsty in the middle of the night, you just put it in your mouth, hit a button on the bedside table, just pumps ice cold water into you. Hank was very hungover that day, but it's a good invention.
I like that idea.
Yeah.
I love it too.
We got anything else? Or we wanna wrap things up for the day? I think we covered a lot of ground here today.
I'm all tapped out on
I got a riddle.
That was good.
Oh yeah. So for these riddles, so the first 2 guys won T-shirts. We have stickers coming. So whoever guesses the riddles from now on will get stickers. They're awesome. You're gonna see them probably later this week. And also posters. When we all get together, we're gonna sign a bunch of posters and send them out to some fans. So that's good. But Billy, let it go.
So there's a substance that if anyone drinks it, they always die. And it has tons of bacteria that live in it, and it can kill you. If you get too much of it, you die. If you drink too little of it, you also die. If you get fully submerged in it, you die. And it's just a super dangerous chemical.
I wonder what it could be.
Yeah.
Billy, this riddle sucks.
That's the best one yet, honestly.
So reply to our first tweet tomorrow with the answer to that riddle.
That shit trash, dog.
I love it. Good job, Billy.
You've ever heard of dihydrogen monoxide?
A little more ambiguous next time, fam.
It's a pleasure to have you back, Billy.
I missed you, dog.
You want to guess what?
It's literally liquid death.
You want to guess what Big T's underwear is, Arian?
Oh fuck. This is the first time he stood up before.
I mean, if you were in the room, you would definitely have a guess just based on everything else that he's wearing right now.
Yeah, no. I would definitely go. I'm going black.
Black? Oh, it's gray.
Well, they're blue.
Fuck.
Oh, that looked gray. Okay, well, it's close. Big T is wearing all University of Tennessee.
I had to drop off my laundry this morning. I literally had no clothes.
You look exactly the same as you.
I don't like this shirt though. The collar hangs too low on this shirt.
Hydroxyl acid is a major component of acid rain. It's the same stuff. It's colorless, odorless, and tasteless.
Billy, what the fuck are you talking about?
Dude, we got to get him out of here. He's going to keep talking.
Yeah.
Forever.
All right, Billy. It was great to have you on the show. We miss you. Come back soon. Maybe for the aliens episode.
Yeah.
Ooh, that'd be dope. You gotta be there. Gotta be here for that one.
So, programming note, there will be an episode of Macrodosing next week. It's going to come out on Wednesday. So we'll tape it Tuesday afternoon. The topic is still yet to be determined. But yeah, look for that. Won't be doing one for Tuesday.
Have a good.
Memorial Day.
I'm sorry. Were you in the middle of recording?
No, go ahead.
I have a great topic. Prostitutes.
Okay.
Or prostitution.
The world's oldest profession?
The world's oldest profession.
I like it. Sex workers?
Yes, bro. It's a great fucking topic, actually.
As someone who is occasionally horny, I like it. I like it, Arian. We should have a prostitute on.
I'm extra down with that.
Yeah.
If they down.
Yeah. No, that would actually be fascinating.
Hey, have I ever told you guys about trifecta nutrition?
No, Billy, go off. Actually, Billy, we'll pump this in afterwards.
Yeah, we'll do that shit.
Love you guys.